Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Spilling the Tea on GovCon. I'm Teresa Moon, Director of Market Strategy for Parabolis. We are the preeminent partnership for government contractors, providing holistic support that includes a line of credit to fund your growth. The purpose of this podcast is to assist small businesses with success in the federal marketplace by introducing them to industry experts and resources that they may not otherwise know about. Today, my guests are Alissa Roath and Warren Sponsler of the National Advanced Mobility Consortium, also known as NAMC. Alissa is CEO of NAMC, as well as the Vice President of the Board of Directors for Michigan's chapter of Women in Defense. Warren is Chief Operating Officer of NAMC and also sits on the Board of Directors for Fisher House, Michigan, which is a 501c3 that supports families and caregivers of veterans and service members seeking medical treatment at VA medical centers and military treatment facilities. Welcome to you both. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you for having us, Teresa.
Thanks. Yeah, it's exciting.
Absolutely. So we have a lot to discuss today because we've got a lot of exciting things coming in the months ahead. But before we go too far into that, if you would take a few minutes to further introduce yourselves and give some professional background and how you became involved with NAMC. And Alissa, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Great. Thank you again for having us. So I have been with NAMC as an organization since it was created in various roles. We were created in 2008, and I played supporting roles up until I became the Director of Operations in 2017 and then the CEO in 2020.
Excellent. How about you, Warren?
Yeah, great. Thank you. So I joined the NAMC team about 2.5 years ago. And prior to that was an active duty service member with the United States Army, where I served in a variety of capacities, the last of which was with Army Futures Command, where we were focused on delivering capabilities for the next generation of combat vehicles and vehicle platforms. Great fit coming over the NAMC team to kind of continue the mission. So very excited to join the team and be able to continue to push things forward.
Well, that's amazing. And thank you for your service. I agree. Your background in the military, it's definitely a good coupling with your position with NAMC. And we're going to get into that. And you can talk a little bit about that as we ask you some questions there. But let's start out because there's a lot of people who are listening to us today who might not be aware of who NAMC is. It's another acronym, folks, right? So if you can explain the background of NAMC, how it was started, and how the consortium works, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So, as I said earlier, we started in 2008, and uniquely, we were created by a group of industry, specifically those with technical experience in ground robotics for the Defense Department, located primarily in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Boston, Massachusetts. And they came together to form a 501c3 nonprofit in response to a solicitation that was coming out of the Office of the Secretary of Defense at that time for industry to enter into a contract with the government to work on emerging needs in the ground robotics space for the Department of DoD. Our first president of the board was Helen Greiner, who was the co-founder of iRobot, the Roomba vacuum. And one of our first technologies that was executed under our contract with the government was the iRobot PackBot that was sent to Afghanistan to detect and diffuse IED systems. And so, we're proud of the fact that we were created by industry and we are still led by industry. Our board of directors is elected from our membership. And we are the second longest running other transaction-enabled consortium for the DoD. And so we have a long history of successful projects and collaborations between industry and government.
That's very cool. I actually didn't know that. And so I'm glad that we asked that question because I love learning something new. And that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Definitely very cool background for NAMC there. Let's move along and talk about project awards that come through. How many project awards does NAMC have throughout the course of a fiscal year?
Yeah, thanks. I'll jump into this one. So we, over the course of our 16-year history, we've seen about 400 unique project awards. So, doing some quick math in the head here, I think it's about 25 or so a year. Truthfully, we kind of see the number of projects that we get ebbs and flows depending on the needs of the government and the needs of our customers. But we do definitely see a really good input of projects that do come through us and really leveraging the capabilities that we have through our OTA and other mechanisms. we're pretty proud of the fact that about 1 in 4 of our members actually receives a unique project award, which is pretty cool. And, to your, kind of what you described there at the beginning about focusing on small business, it really helps us to keep small business engaged and keep small business, doing what they do as well. A lot of our awards we see like big platform capabilities and big projects, and we also see some smaller ones too. So there's a pretty good mix of ones that we see as well. And in addition to our project awards, we also do a number of sort of these overarching projects that help to focus industry perspectives into the government's sort of larger activities. So think things like architectures. We're doing a project like that for autonomy right now, and we're also doing things for survivability. I bring those up because even though they're not like unique project awards, there's still opportunities for our members and for industry to be able to engage with the government and with the DoD to help inform either future requirements or architectures or ways of doing business to help make it more feasible for them to participate.
Right. And I think it's important to note what you say, that 1 in 4 members actually are able to participate in this. And so I'm sure there's a whole, slew of support that your membership can lend to some of these opportunities. Is there anything maybe that those that are looking to engage further, looking to join NAMC, that can say, what's the return on time and investment into the membership as far as supporting the project awards?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of opportunities within being members of NAMC. Of course, there's the project awards themselves, which is pretty cool. I mean, some of them we manage exclusively, and we do that because we pre-vet our members to make sure that they can receive the proper level of classification of information, and so it really helps to enable the processes and helps to make things go a little bit faster. So that's an important aspect to it. And really, the way we look at it is, those companies that are best fit for us, or the ones that are best inside of our consortium, are those that bring a technical capability or a technical aspect to the projects that we're going to deal with. So we look at our membership. We've got about 516, I think, as of today, members. We don't really look at it as a quantity equals success. We look at it more as quality equals success. And when we say quality, it's those that can actively participate in the solicitations and the projects and the efforts that we have. And it's really those that are going to be active within the consortium. So we want people to be engaged. We want them to be involved not only in just the projects themselves, but also the collaboration activities we do and the networking activities we do and some others. So we do see a lot of benefit, I think, for folks, not just in those awards themselves. Because of our focus on small business and non-traditional defense contractors, we also focus on resources and things that we can do for them. So, I mean, that's another big aspect of what we try to do.
That's amazing. I think there's so much that you've said so far that really sets you apart from other organizations that this audience might be familiar with. So I think there's so much more value in some of the membership opportunities that we're talking about already that is a differentiator. So if people are looking for something different, a way to get involved and get in deep with not only opportunity but resources, you guys are offering a lot more than most do. So this is fabulous. This is exactly why we have you on, so that you can discuss through that. And I think a topic of the day that's becoming really prevalent in our industry and government contracting are about surrounding OTAs. They're becoming a big impact term right now. So can you discuss the history of OTAs with NAMC?
We are the second longest running other transaction enabled consortium. OTAs have actually been around since the 1950s. They were a statute that was created to attract, as Warren said, non-traditional defense contractors, those that normally wouldn't do work with the government for a variety of reasons, including, the bureaucracy, protecting their IP, all of the issues that, you can think of that would give you pause to work with the government. And, specifically, it was created in the race to get a man to the moon. So they wanted to attract those, innovators working out of their garage with the next big idea.
Mhm.
And so we have seen since then the department, DARPA was the first to adopt them after NASA, working on some of the cutting edge stuff that DARPA does work on. DoD was shortly after that. And this idea of utilizing a consortium kind of took it to a different level to say, we want industry to form together under a technology umbrella and work together on some of these big challenges that are coming out of the Department of Defense, ultimately for our warfighters, and to field the best capabilities to them. And so there are about 40 OTA-enabled consortiums at this time. They're run differently. They have different technology umbrellas. We are the only consortium that is focused around advanced mobility technologies, both, crewed and uncrewed, starting with that foundation of robotics and moving into the platforms, which is a lot of what we deal with now, primarily in support of the Army at this time. But, we have been cross-service since we were created. And so OTAs are really flexible. They can be, stacked with other statutes that come down from the Department of Defense, but at the heart of them, they are supposed to be more business-friendly, commercial-like terms to be able to work with those small businesses and non-traditionals. And the services we provide is to teach those businesses how to do work with the government in an easier fashion than they would normally find. And so, we've even seen, as recently as this week, the administration, the new Secretary of Defense putting out a memo encouraging, acquisition professionals to utilize OTAs because of their flexibility and ability to attract commercial technologies to the Defense Department. And so they've been around a long time. They're proven, they're not a new fad. And we've just seen kind of the use of them grow and just the value of them grow as we've moved on.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think, it opens up the avenues to technology that the bureaucracy and normal day-to-day government contracting kind of stifles because the process itself is so slow. I mean, we make reference on this show all the time that the mantra in government contracting is hurry up and wait. And, I almost struggle to ask people when they reach out to us to, work with us on certain projects that, when is award date due? When is your RFP going to drop? And it's like, why did I even bother asking that? How about when do you think? And then let's chart out like 6 to 12 months after that and give a little buffer.
Right.
And even that's being generous.
Yes.
And I think OTAs kind of cut through all of that red tape. And it does. It opens it up. We see it all the time. I'm in Orlando, right? And so, in the simulation and modeling and training community, the access to the commercial market is a big benefit to the military personnel that are here. It really gets the technology to the warfighter a lot faster when we can jump through some of the challenges that are typically there. So you got my support on that. I think it's wonderful. And I'm glad that we highlighted that today too on how that's working out there. And I saw that memorandum come out from the secretary as well. And it's nice to see people with an understanding of how quickly we need these things to happen. So the things that are being told to us are needed are actually being given when the technology is still relevant instead of them getting it when they've already been replaced. And we see that a lot. And I know nothing about technology, but I know that it changes really fast.
Yeah.
That's probably why I know nothing about it because it changes before I can figure it out.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Now we just have to hope that, the acquisition professionals, listen and utilize, tools and the statutes that Congress has given them and
Right.
make them around, they're proven. Yeah.
I think that's a good segue into our next question about the importance of government partners to NAMC. I got to imagine that your ability to speak with them directly and talk about not only what the need is, but how that translates into how the membership and the consortium itself can step up to it. Let's talk about some of the interactions that government partners provide to the consortium.
Yeah, so we're in a really unique situation with being a nonprofit and the brand and trust that we have built with our government customers, that we get a unique vantage point into the state of industry and can sit kind of in the middle, advocating for both our members as a whole, but also for the government and their needs to get things done quickly and what they're trying to accomplish. And so we vet our membership, as Warren said, to make sure that they can receive, controlled unclassified information, just, a level up from that public release information that you would find on sam.gov or other avenues, so that we can get to solutions more collaboratively and quickly than you normally would. And so we have seen, quite a few of our government customers really leverage that aspect of the consortium to get in a room with our members and really talk about what the heart of their problems are and what are potential solutions. And so it really gives, especially our small businesses and non-traditionals, access to the government that they normally wouldn't be able to have, as well as the end user. We look for every opportunity to bring those end users in to get those soldier touch points so that industry knows that they are on track with what they're creating and it's actually going to be picked up and utilized. And so We have various events for our members, including industry days before we put out a solicitation, meet and greets, networking events, and, encourage our government partners and customers to be there every step of the way as best as they can. And we've seen a lot of value in having that ability to collaborate and communicate at those levels.
The events that you're speaking about, considering the level of opportunity that you have come through, how many are you guys typically having during the year, and where are they usually held?
Well, I can jump in there. So we do a lot of events. I mean, we do everything from sort of the very internally focused one to supporting some of the bigger sort of headlining events around the country. I would say that we probably do between 10 and 12. So
Oh,
it's,
wow.
one
That's a
or
lot.
two a month in some cases. We've got a couple of big ones that we support here in Southeast Michigan, but there's also a number that we support around the country as well. So we kind of go where the need is. I mean, I guess I'd kind of put it that way. We've hosted industry engagements for our customers out in Aberdeen Proving Ground. We've done it in other locations as well. We're going to be out in Virginia later on this year to support another customer with one of our early ideation activities, bringing in some industry perspectives as well. So it's definitely a big part of our mission as we try to increase that collaboration and just that ability for industry and government to make sure they're talking to each other and to break down some of those barriers. I would add, sort of going back a little bit to my history when I was in my previous role. When I first came in, again, I was in the uniform then. I was in a different perspective, and one of the things that we always heard was how much of a challenge it was for industry and the government to talk to one another,
Mhm.
especially those small businesses, and to really get those innovative ideas and be able to get the perspectives. And so, we've made that task a big piece of what we do here to try to open up that engagement, make sure that we're giving folks the opportunity to really reach out and talk to one another.
That's so important because not only are they engaging with these opportunities, but likely they have opportunities in other places as well. And they're taking what they're learning from the engagements with you and benefiting from it in other engagements as well. And that is a win-win for membership. And so with that being said, who is a good fit for a membership of NAMC and what makes them that good fit?
Yeah, so really, I would say for our members, again, I mentioned this earlier. We look at some technical capabilities within the scope of what we do. There's about 15 specific areas that we are very interested in trying to find technologies from. Those are on our website. If you want to take some time, I know it's scrolling across the bottom here, but would love to you to dig into our website a little bit if you are interested in joining our consortium and just take a look at it and see what the technical areas are that we're so interested in. While we are a very sort of ground vehicle, robotics, and sort of similar focused consortium, we're not just wheels, tracks, suspensions, and stuff like that. So it's common. It's kind of sort of a common misnomer we run into all the time. I like to think about it as we do everything from really the rubber on the wheels of the tracks all the way to the tips of the antennas on vehicle platforms. So whether it's communications equipment, whether it's software, whether it's autonomy, whether it's any of the things that make those systems work, advanced energy, batteries, all that kind of stuff, we find expertise within our members and expertise within our consortium to help deliver best solutions for our customers. So that's really the big prerequisite.
Mhm.
The other one, as we mentioned, is you sort of have to be a US based organization, not
Yeah.
sort of, but you do, so that you can receive that controlled and classified information that most of our solicitations and most of our customers want to be able to see. So that's the other big piece of it. The other big prerequisite, it's really not that big, is we do charge a membership due to be part of our consortium. It's not very much. $500 is all we've charged for a year, and it hasn't changed in 16 years. So unlike the price of gas and everything else you see out there, we have been inflation proof for 16 years. So we think it's a pretty good value, and we put a lot of effort into keeping it there, and we put a lot of effort into reinvesting those membership dues back into our membership as well to make sure that those companies are armed to be able to do the next thing. So the bottom line is, with all that, if you're a company that's got a capability within those technical areas and you really just want to dig in and do some work with the DoD and you want to support warfighters, you want a team, you want to collaborate, and you want to figure out how to get your technology to market, then you're a good fit for us. That's how I'd look at it.
That's awesome. And the proficiencies being as deep as they are, likely a lot of people who are listening right now might fall in line with at least one of those or more. But the return on investment there is incredible given the opportunities that are provided on a yearly basis to the membership, I'd say that's a very good buy there. So if I'm encouraging people who know that their capabilities fit in line with this, I would go to that website right now. It's namconsortium.org and sign up to be a member, because I don't know any other organizations that are literally putting you in front of an opportunity immediately and regularly during the course of a fiscal year. They're doing the majority of your business development work for you. So I'd say join up, or at least get involved and see if your capabilities match up, because that's a bargain.
Yeah,
I'd
and
have to say.
Teresa, the last thing I'd add too is if you just don't know and if you just want to find out about us, we're happy to set up a call. We'll put one of our team or one of us will get on there and we can just chat about it. We know that it's not a fit for everybody. And like I said earlier, I mean, the focus is really on quality of our membership to make sure that we've got, the right folks doing the right work. Yeah, we just love to have a conversation and to figure out if it's going to be a right fit for you.
Awesome. Well, good news for me and for my networks down here in Orlando is that you and your team are coming down here for an event next month, April 15th. We are hosting an event with you here in Orlando. And if you guys wouldn't mind talking a little bit about it, why you're going on the road for this purpose, and how people in the community down here can find us and get involved.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I think we're really looking forward to it. So we're a national organization, even though that we do a lot of our work here you know, where our customers are, which is here in Southeast Michigan. We're very dedicated to trying to very much supporting the companies from around the country that make up our membership. Our organizations that within our membership are not quite in every state, but we're almost there. But we do have several big pockets of them. And one of them is actually right down there in Central Florida. So we're really excited to bring a networking and collaboration event down there, as you mentioned, April 15th at Bar Louie, just off the University of Central Florida campus.
Yeah.
5 o'clock, we're going to start. Who knows when it's going to end? Probably about 7 or so is what we're shooting for. So the idea is to conduct kind of an informal networking collaboration event. We just want to get folks talking to each other, getting them in a room. We'll talk a little bit about what we do. So, while we're down there, again, if you're interested in membership, we'd love to talk to you. But really, it's about those companies that are interested in supporting the defense industry, no matter how you do it, whether you're actually a technical provider or maybe you do something else. Maybe you support funding, maybe you support business development or other activities, and you're invited. We'd love to have you there and to come check it out. So it's a great opportunity for us to expand really our network and footprint onto other places around the country. And spoiler alert, this is one of about a handful of others we're going to do around the country as well. So we're really looking forward to seeing everybody down there.
I'm looking forward to it as well, and I appreciate you guys bringing us in and allowing us to be a part of it. I am super proud of my hometown, and we have a very large DoD presence down here with a lot of small, medium, and large businesses supporting the defense industry. And so I am calling out all of my people. I want to see you on April 15th at Bar Louie. You guys know where it is. It's right down the street from our houses. So no excuse. Free food and drinks, and we'll have a great time. And you'll get to know why I'm so passionate about supporting NAMC and why each of you should look into not only becoming a member, but being involved to help uplift organizations like this that really help businesses within government contracting. Super important. So I'm really proud to have had you both on today. You're wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's super busy for you this time of year, and I hope we can have you back again soon, but I'm looking forward to the fact that I get to see you in a month.
Yes. Thank you,
Great.
Teresa, for
Looking
having us.
forward
It was
to it.
great.
Well, thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Absolutely. We appreciate having all of you joining us today as well. As always, we pride ourselves on sharing the most insightful and exciting people and information to help you better navigate your GovCon journey. If you like what you heard today, you can see all of our past podcasts, which are archived on our YouTube channel by the same name. Stay tuned for all of our future guests in the coming months as we help you grow to great heights in the year ahead. I'm Teresa Moon, and this is Spilling the Tea on GovCon. Have a great day, my friends.